Welcome to the Pitcher Podcast, where the conversation is free flow, everything is on the house, and all we ask for in return is for you not to give us 1-star reviews. I'm Cody.
And I'm Ian.
And today we're going to be talking about... What are we talking about?
Health!
Health is wealth,
Health
baby!
is wealth! So it's been a while. We've done like a week hiatus from the podcast, so bear with us. Before we get started, though, we're going to be having music as our culture corner.
Yep.
And Cody, you want to start us off?
Yes, mine is Candyman, or The Candyman. I'm not sure what the actual song name is, but it's by Sammy Davis Jr. And the only reason I am recommending this week is because...
It's a good song.
One, because it is amazing, but two, because... It was about 4 weeks ago or so, the last time we hung out in as a group with Michael, and Michael was testing out the sound system of his new car, and he put on this really old song called Candyman. And I hadn't heard it since I was a kid. I remember listening to it, but it was just really funny. And then later that night, we saw a group of these very rich white foreigner kids that we were that were parked at a place near us, and we were wanting to do a little drive-by where we were playing music really loud and just yelled at them or something.
The most vanilla drive-by known to man.
And we chose Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr. To accompany this whole act. And at one point, Michael just rolled down the window and yelled, "Do you want some candy?"
But really aggressively.
Yeah, very aggressively. And none of us had said anything, so it was just Michael.
And it went quiet and we just drove off. Yeah. And I was like, wow, Mike, there was a lot of anger behind that.
Yeah. What? I felt like top dog after that. But yeah, anyways, we'll play a couple seconds of it starting right now.
Sunrise, sprinkle it with dew. Cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two. The Candyman.
Wow. Nice. That's a really good song.
It's a bit creepy.
Yeah. We were talking about in the car just how it hasn't aged super well. The prospect of this one man singing
about candy.
About candy to all these kids and saying that he'll fulfill all their wishes and stuff.
Does he say that?
He says something along those lines and stuff. And then you can even eat the dishes at the end too, he says. So anyways.
Yeah, it's the same with Willy Wonka. I always thought that was a very odd film.
Yeah. Willy Wonka, actually the first Willy Wonka movie ripped off, or maybe not ripped off, I don't know, they just did an adaptation of Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr. in it, but it wasn't as good as the actual original Candyman. So.
Yeah, Willy Wonka is a Willy Wanka.
Oh, that was bad.
I don't know why I said that. Okay, so for my song, I'm going to be doing an age-old banger, because I guess we're going back to music that we used to listen to with Cody's Candyman choice. So a song that I used to bang back in the days was by the band We the Kings.
And what's the song name?
That's a good question. Maybe it's called 1, 2, 3 check. Yes, Julia.
Very good. Very
no
good.
Explanation needed. We're gonna play 5 seconds starting now. Wow, that was actually 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds. But there's not a lot of backstory to
really?
it. I
just
really
randomly?
Like the song,
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's actually a deeper explanation, but I promise not to bring up anything. So you can read into that.
It's too tied into politics, so we didn't want to talk about politics today.
Right,
so
exactly.
100% what it's about.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right,
weekly catch up.
Weekly catch up. Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. This was actually just yesterday. Ian's been working on for his summer internship. He's been working 1 week work at home and then 1 week working in the city. And so the weeks where he's working in the city, we get lunch as much as we can. So we got lunch together 3 times this week, and just took it to a park because Hong Kong has a 2-person group setting where you can't hang out in groups in like public
Like social
spaces.
restriction.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so we finished lunch and then we just walked through this mall that we were eating nearby, and our good friend Michael, who was on an episode earlier, is finishing up his internship this week, and we
Congratulations, Mike.
Congrats, Mike, if you're listening to this, but we were just going around all these like designer stores and looking at their like summer outfits and stuff.
Just the most ridiculous outfits you've ever seen.
Yeah. These like boots from Fendi that looked like they had like Sharpie drawn on it, and stuff. But then we were just looking at all these outfits and saying which ones we could envision like pulling up to a group outing with or something.
Testing the waters.
Yeah. Like these like super long trench coats or something, or like these dresses and stuff too. And then
It's very like form-fitting clothes.
Yeah. And then him getting like defensive if we brought them up or something, and being like, GQ magazine called this the summer 2020 look. What are you guys
your
talking
MD
about?
look.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was a ton of fun, and we probably just looked stupid, like laughing at all these clothes and stuff in the windows. But it was a lot of fun.
It's just us being silly. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. What was yours?
There's really not much to it. Like, I'm, as Cody said, 1 week in the office, 1 week out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yet again, I repeat myself like over and over again. It's just still very weird just not having anyone around the office. But this week has actually gone by in a blur. Like, on Wednesday, I thought it was like Tuesday. I was always like one day behind mentally. I think it's probably because like I started to get a lot of work, and also alongside that, I have this project that I'm planning for, and there's a lot of different factors, including having groups of 7.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard to really agree upon stuff, and then that was stressful. And I remember just like grabbing lunch with my cousin on like Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we got an email from our supervisor saying like, "Oh, why haven't you updated me?" Even though like in the very first day, like she was like, "You don't have to contact me unless really like there's any emergency regarding your project." So we're like, "Oh, I guess we're just supposed to leave her alone." Yeah. And she like shoots over this urgent email.
Yeah.
And then something in me just clicked, and I just started like having like, it wasn't a panic attack, but I was just really, really anxious and really nervous. Yeah. But then I went back to the office, started working on the presentation. I was just like, it's actually not as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
It's probably because I'm in like a restaurant, and it feels like I'm unable to do anything about it. I think the helplessness really kicked in.
Yeah. For sure. And then in those moments, it's like hard to be present and like focus on the person who you're like hanging out with.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan. He was like making jokes. I was like, yeah, sure. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Just get awkward for a second or something.
And then like I'll have to like, I don't like texting or using my phone during like meetings or like gatherings. Yeah. But then I'm like texting away at my group, like trying to figure things out. And Ryan would be like, "Oh, what's going on there?" Nothing. I gotta reply first. I gotta reply.
He just like eat in silence by himself.
The busy husband.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Has there been any like tense moments in your internship group, like when you've been planning for your presentation at all, or not really?
Yeah, a bit. Like on the group chat and also on calls. There's this one guy who I don't know if he just doesn't have a good grasp of tones or the English language itself, but he can come out very like condescending and very like unhelpful, and that started to like piss me off. Yeah, like I was commenting on something and he was just going to the semantics of like the words I was using. Oh, okay. And I'm like, first of all, like it's so clear to understand like what I was trying to say, and then second of all, like the fact that he's like trying to like nitpick on stuff like that. I'm just like, you're really not helping out right now, and that pissed me off. So I was just like, I had a word with him, and then like,
oh really?
Like
a private
on the
word?
Chat. No, on the chat.
Okay.
I called him out.
Wait, what did you say?
No, we don't have to messages. But like on the calls as well, like I'd say something or someone would say something, and then he'd come back with like this kind of tone where he just kind of like pauses a bit. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh yeah." Obviously, you have something to say. Yeah. Then you might as well say it, and he says it, and it makes no sense. So I just argue with him, and then I finally win. Right. And he's like, "Oh, I guess that makes sense." I'm like, we didn't have to have this argument if you were willing to listen to like something new. Yeah.
And is the rest of the group, like the group members that are just on call, like, do they mute themselves at this point? So it's just like silent.
But then I have like quite a couple on my side who would just come in and be like, yeah, I think Ian's idea was actually really good, so I think we should just go with it. And I was like, yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, last summer when we had to do our final group like internship presentation, it was so bad. It was so bad because some of the people, like everyone wanted to present, but you could only have like 3 or 4 people presenting, and then the people
only 3 or 4 within the group.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then the people presenting, you had to do this on a stage in front of like the whole like 100 or 150 person like intern cohort, and then it was going to be judged by a whole panel and everything.
Yeah.
And the people, this is like the night before the presentation in the morning, 2 of the people just couldn't stop laughing like while we were rehearsing and everything. And I think it was mostly because I was making eye contact with them, and then I would start to like smirk, and then they would just like start to laugh. But it was like we rehearsed like at least 8 different times, and each time we had to stop because they were laughing, and it was just so bad.
Were you presenting?
No, I wasn't presenting because I told them I was gonna laugh, so I couldn't. And then so for the actual final presentation, I had to like kind of leave the room and stuff. Like I had to like kind of hide behind the actual like projection or whatever, so they couldn't see me during the thing, so they wouldn't like make eye contact with me and laugh.
Classic Nathaniel presentation situation. And also it was weird, like it was the first time I ate in a restaurant this week.
Yeah.
In I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
Like I haven't sat down in an establishment and eaten in like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's quite a surreal experience.
Yeah. I think it's been like at least a month since I've been in an actual restaurant and stuff. But yeah, I guess jumping into health. Do you want to kick us off?
Okay. Wait, let me take a look at my notes.
Okay.
Because
nice.
Health is so general.
Yeah.
But I guess to, hone in on something, we could talk about health during quarantine and health during the whole situation right now. And I think I started off pretty like good in terms of building some sort of healthy regimen, but that was before my internship.
Yeah,
when I had like a lot more time. So like I used to be able to eat according to the times I need to eat and eat like correct amounts and just like healthy stuff, and in the same time also go like run or do like body weight workouts. Yeah, which I was able to build this like pretty good like routine, which allowed me to actually enjoy running, because I actually hate running. Like running's never something that I enjoyed. Maybe because like I like to say I have anemia. I have a minor anemia, and that's my excuse for being slow when I run. But then that and also the repetition of it just like bugs me out. So I wasn't much of a runner, but then I was like, I gotta exercise somehow, and this was like the most accessible way. And I started to run, and then I found it very therapeutic. It's very similar to like, I would say like Cody's night walks, which have become night runs at this point, and he'll get into that. Yeah. But so that's the sort of routine I try to build. So I guess like put myself in a physical and like mental state of health. Yeah. Before COVID and everything, Christ, I am sweating. Yeah. We have to turn off the air conditioner like when we record because it makes too much background noise. So we just both get a bit like. Can I take off my shirt? Yeah. While Ian is taking off his shirt behind me, what would you say, like before COVID and everything and gyms closing, like you would gym quite often. How many times per week would you say generally you went to the gym? Like for weightlifting and stuff. In Hong Kong, when I wasn't working, I would probably go like 4 or 5 times a week. Right. Okay. And like, I guess once the world goes back to normal, whenever that is, would you say that like you starting to do more cardio and running would be like a lasting thing? Like no, you would 100% not. Like once again, I'd definitely drop it. Okay. And then if I'm like working, I'd probably just go and like lift weights in the morning. Yeah. And I won't have enough time to do cardio, so I'm definitely gonna put cardio in the bin. I'll just enjoy it while I have to now. Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm kind of in the opposite cart. Like even when gyms were open, I was never like huge into weightlifting. I would go like a couple times a week, but never like was super intense about like regimen or routine or like optimal nutrition and all this stuff. But I enjoyed it just as like a form of stress relief. But now with gyms being closed and stuff, I started taking night walks, which like recently have turned into night runs. And I think it's actually something that I've grown to like a lot more, just like the rhythm and the consistency of it.
And I like am very purposeful about not listening to music or like anything while I take my runs. So it's like a nice little like 20 or 30 minutes of the day, and I think that that's actually something that like maybe I'll start doing a bit less when the world goes back to normal, but I feel like I'll start to like build that into my daily routine.
I still don't understand how you can do it without music, though.
Yeah, we talked about that.
You want to explain your thinking process behind not using
Well,
music?
it was super pragmatic at first. My wireless earphones broke, and so I only had cord earphones, which are just like super inconvenient while you're running because they're like jangling everywhere.
They slap your chest.
Yeah, and then sometimes they get like all coated in sweat, and it's just kind of grim. So that's why I started doing it without, and then I got a new pair of wireless earphones that I could run with now, but I've just gotten in the mood of like thinking a lot about different things while I'm like running and stuff, and it's just like kind of like a nice like 30 minutes just to myself to be in my own thoughts. But I definitely couldn't like walk for longer than like 40 minutes without listening to anything. It's too much time in my head.
I love listening to music when I run because it helps like drone out the pain and the monotony of running as well.
For sure.
But then I feel like you build so much like I guess mental strength if you're able, and like discipline if you're able to run without earphones.
Right.
Yeah, it's just you in the road.
Yeah,
you in the road.
Me in the road and my feet on the ground, baby.
I know Cody's not much of a big lifter, but he is quite a avid rower. So you want to talk to us about your rowing career, Cody?
No.
I'm personally very proud of Cody in terms of his rowing achievements and his rowing abilities.
No.
Day in, day out, I would constantly tell him how much of a great rower he is.
So bad.
I'm not actually taking the piss. Like, Cody's actually a good rower.
No.
Dating back to the story about Cody getting pissed at me, he was really quick as he as he paddled back to shore. That was a sign. Like, I knew I was in trouble, but at the same time, I was like, "Damn, Cody, all that training really paid off." But I really wondered, like, Cody, where did you train for?
Where did I train for my rowing?
Yeah, for your rowing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh no, for crew.
So bad. The whole reason Ian is bringing this up is because I studied abroad in the UK just for one semester, and I tried out rowing because that was like a big aspect of like UK athletics and stuff, and so I just did that. And then the university that I was staying at, like, they had a bunch of different like teams or colleges essentially, and so I joined one college's team. And would just like train on a weekly basis and stuff with them. But I was actually really bad. I was actually really bad in it. And it was
giving it more context, super exclusive, really hard to get into.
No.
And then Cody being like a 1 month or 1 semester like transfer student shouldn't be able to get on the team. And then he got onto the team, and then right after that, the coach on the team was like, "It's a shame that you're not like a full-time student here, because if you were, you'd definitely be in the roster or whatever." And I was like, "God damn, Cody." And he has all this like merch, and it's like pretty legit. So
all the rowing merch.
Yeah, Cody's quite a good rower, might I say.
You saw it when I got mad at you.
I was like, shit, but damn, Cody.
No, I was actually really, really bad at it, but
then you got really good really quick. Because you're just a natural born rower, Cody.
Thank you.
I don't need this humility, man.
Another aspect of health that I think is
you're
like,
you gotta quickly skip over it.
It's too embarrassing. It's too embarrassing.
How's it embarrassing? It's impressive.
Because I also just made a lot of like rookie errors and stuff too on this team that like I didn't know anyone from. And they all
because
like,
you are a rookie. What the? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It was just I had like a lot of embarrassing moments where I almost like fell in the river and stuff.
I know, but did you row before that?
No.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Thank you.
If I could give more details, I would, but it is sick.
Anyways, one thing that I wanted to ask you about, I guess we talked about it a bit with Michael when he came on, but like diet and stuff, like what has been your thought processing with like constructing your own diet, especially when you were in university and like weren't really on a meal plan, so had to like cook for yourself, but then also balance that with like attending lectures and studying for exams and writing papers and stuff. Because I never had to do that. I've always been on a meal plan, so it's been super convenient.
So I was like pretty consistent in terms of what I eat. Like, I've probably mentioned this before. Like, I don't get sick of repetition in terms of like the stuff I eat, and I'm not a guy who really needs something to be like super flavorful or super tasty for me to be satisfied. Like, Michael probably said this in his episode, but I take a bit of his perspective in the way that I see food as more like fuel.
Yeah.
To the day or to like whatever I do. So especially in uni, like shout out to Farhan if Farhan's listening to this. I've kind of adopted.
Who's one of your housemates?
Yeah,
right?
he's one of my housemates, and one of my really good friends in the UK. And basically, he's super buff, and he has this like it's not a strict regimen, but then it's like this routine of just eating chicken breast and rice and vegetables every single day, 5 times a day.
Wow.
And not including breakfast, so he has like 5-6 meals a day. He's massive though, so fair enough. But then I've started to adopt that in some manner after I started working out in second year, because I was like super headstrong about trying to get big, trying to get like fit and athletic in some sorts. And I started cooking like the same thing over and over again, and I just realized like this is easy. I'm not really bored of it, and I've realized like it's gonna give me the gains. So then that was the thing that pushed me to do that as well. Yeah. So it was just like the same as Farhan. It's just like chicken breast, vegetables, and rice. Yeah. And I have that 3-4 times a day. Yeah. Excluding breakfast. Yeah. And it's just easy. You just like chuck like shit into the oven or like put rice in the rice cooker, and you just like mind your own business. And especially like in my uni, everything is like walking distance. So campus is really like 25-minute walk away. So I'll always be able to have time to come back and make lunch and then leave again if need be. Like I rarely really like buy any like on campus food. Yeah. Unless I have like a really jam-packed day, which somehow like no matter how packed my day is, I always have like 2-3 hours to eat lunch. So it's always like enough time. Yeah. So, apart from that, like, I have been doing meal prepping, like, during exam periods. Yeah. So, like, when I'm just, like, super stressed or, like, have a lot of work to do, I would just meal prep, like, 3-4 days in advance, because that's how long chicken, like, stays, like, fresh. Yeah. In the fridge. So I would just do that and just, like, eat the same thing yet again, over and over again. And I wouldn't get bored of it. Yeah. So I don't think it's really applicable to everyone. Because I'm sure a lot of people require that variety. Yeah. Like, they require flavor. Yeah. Like, I don't really season my shit as well. Like, chicken's, like, a bit of salt and pepper. Yeah. And I'm fine. Yeah. So that was my disciplined lifestyle. And then now that I'm back in Hong Kong, I don't really have to make all my meals myself. Yeah. And then I can eat out as well. Yeah. But then I have made an effort to eat, like, chicken breast every single day as well. And just to kind of, like, detox. Because it's so easy to fall down that, like, little rabbit hole of just, like, eating whatever you want and just eating all these, like, great things. Yeah. But then now that everything's closed, I think it allowed me to reset my diet a bit and reset my... I don't know. What are you searching for? To my head, but I didn't know what I was about to say.
Like resetting your mentality and stuff?
I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We've also been saving just like a ton of money with like not eating out or going out at all because everything has been so closed and stuff. But yeah, I've definitely been like eating a bit more healthy at least just because it's like going to a restaurant and stuff now, like one, it's just inconvenient because you can only go with like one other person, but then two, like it just like makes me a bit scared to go into like a confined space with a lot of other people with like their masks off after they've sat down and stuff. And there was actually just like the last couple days there's been fears in Hong Kong that COVID can be spread through food and stuff as well. So now I'm just like super scared of that. But I think that's a good point. Like I definitely need more variety in my life when it comes to like eating and stuff. So I'm just like not disciplined with being able to like eat the same meals and stuff all the time. But my dad can like eat the exact same thing like every morning.
Cody's dad is a tank.
He rides his bike and then runs a lot, and so Ian will often like whenever he's coming like to or from my place will like see my dad on the road.
So your dad is Fitspo, man. Fitness inspiration.
He'll be so gassed if he hears you saying.
Because I remember like a couple of weeks back, I dropped Cody off at his place, and then I think Cody was saying that they're gonna go on like a family hike right
Yeah.
after. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And then on our way back, like on my way down the hill, I see Cody's dad just like running up the hill.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is insane. He's like running in like 40-degree
Yeah,
weather.
it was so hot that day.
And then still going on a family hike
Yeah,
right
yeah,
after.
yeah.
And he probably like cycles somewhere in that day as well. I'm just like,
Yeah.
your dad is crazy.
That day was funny because he ran down to like this like coastline area near our house and then swam in the ocean and
What?
stuff. Yeah. And then dried off and stuff and then ran back home and then showered off at home and then we went on a family hike afterwards.
Your dad should do an Ironman.
Yeah, he's done a half Ironman, but never a full Ironman.
I mean, that's impressive
yeah,
enough.
he's very into like cardio and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense in terms of like why you're such an elite rower.
Oh my god. Shit.
It runs in the blood.
It really doesn't.
You're like the Winklevoss,
the Winklevoss twins. Yeah.
Winklevoss.
The Winklevoss twins. Yeah, speaking of rowing, like something I discovered when I was like studying abroad and then also going back to the US after that semester abroad and like just like noticing kind of like US like crew and like rowing culture. It just like how kind of toxic some sort of like fitness communities and like sports communities can be and just like how not a fan of that I am.
Oh, I'm such a fan of that kind of lifestyle, man.
Really?
Yeah, the varsity jackets.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, like, that's one aspect of it, like, the actual, like institution of it, but then also, I've just discovered, like, there's just...
being the top dog on campus.
Yeah, okay, actually, I'm really not a fan of that, too. Like, especially at my school, maybe this is just, like, my experience and stuff, but, like, a lot of these, like, varsity athletes, they're so insular in, like, their communities and stuff, and then because of that, and because of all this, like, fame and, like, funding that they bring to the school and stuff, they get away with, like, so many things that, like, the average student wouldn't be able to get away with.
Non-godly stuff.
Yeah, like, very, like, hazing, you know, which is, like, really bad. There was a really bad, like, hazing incident in my
hazing
school.
I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. Or also just, like, the football team at my college would just be so, like, rambunctious and disrespectful in the cafeteria and would, like, catcall women and stuff and then be able to, like, get away with it. And just, like, such a, like, toxic
what is
element.
this, like, the 70s? Like, Greece?
It's like...
It's literally like Greece.
Yeah. It's just, like, the average, like, American sports team at college, actually. I think it's, like, a pretty common thing. Rachel says that it's, like, very, very similar at the college that she goes to. Just, like, with what sports teams can get away with. But then also just, like, not speaking about sports teams themselves, but I think something that puts people off of, like, going to gyms or just, like, working out in groups is just kind of like toxic health culture and stuff in general, which I think is, like, really, really understandable, actually. And just, like, how kind of, like, exclusive some, like, you know, generally just, like, how exclusive some gyms can be and just, like, how not inclusive of, like, different body types and stuff. Different communities can be, which is really a shame because I think it prevents a lot of people from, like, doing things that, you know, they really like, or like the only thing that you should be doing in the gym is like pure cardio or like weightlifting and stuff too.
So you're talking about the intensity of bro culture.
Yeah.
I guess I romanticize it because I've never actually experienced it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're eating your words back up. But yeah, like, I think something that like quarantine and like home workouts and stuff has like made me realize is just like how important some like daily or like semi-regular form of exercise is just for like mental health and stuff, but also like that exercise doesn't have to look like running for like 40 minutes every day or like doing push-ups or sit-ups at home. Like it can be like
just whatever you can do.
Like truly like whatever you enjoy with like moving your body and stuff, whether that's like yoga or just like walking around the house or something
or
like
in-house workouts.
Yeah.
A friend or
with a friend. Yeah.
Something that just makes you sweat, you know.
Okay.
What? Am I saying anything wrong?
Oh dear. No.
Just having a sweat with
Yeah.
a friend at a house.
Yep. We are having a sweat with a friend at a house right now.
yeah,
I'm
we
actually
are.
sweating a lot.
I am sweating.
Yeah.
I'm pouring. I'm
Ian is a
dripping.
foot away from me, just like oily chest and everything.
I don't wanna be
My
too far
parents are
from the
coming
mic.
home in like 20 minutes.
They open the door. We're just both half naked.
We emerge from the steamy room, both shirtless, like sweaty chests
Oh
and
my
everything
God.
together. But yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to say?
I'm looking at not eating sugar because of and stuff. So
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
cover that?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of related to diet and stuff, but
Yeah.
something that I have stopped doing, I guess like midway through high school, just because of family health and like the fact that I am, because of my dad's diabetes, like genetically more likely to have diabetes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cut out sugar in my life. And started with like soda, but then moved to like other sugary things. So I don't actually like, I found it that I don't crave like sugary snacks or like dessert anymore.
Yes.
But because of that, what I crave like twice as much is like MSG and like
super
salty and,
savory
yeah.
stuff.
I love like potato chips or just like
Oh, okay.
like things like that. Anything that's like super flavorful and like salty and like chock
Yeah.
full of like sodium and like other seasoning, I like crave so much. So that's something that I have to like just be mindful of and everything.
I think I'm the same. Like, I don't have a sweet tooth,
Yeah.
but I love savory stuff.
Yeah,
But I don't really snack because it's like too insubstantial for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like something like really hearty. So when I crave for something, it's always like a burger.
Oh,
or it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
as
yeah.
I said, McNuggets.
Yeah.
I've been on this like McNuggets binge, like not binge, but like I've been craving it for like the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to be able to like get my hands on some nuggets.
Ian texted me out of the blue one day. He's like, dude,
It was at like night. It was
Yeah.
like right before I was about to go to bed.
And we hadn't like, it wasn't like carrying on a conversation. He's just like craving some McNuggets, man. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like I actually ordered McDonald's the other day. It was
Yeah.
really yummy. But then when we got lunch on either like Thursday or Friday, the first thing he says to me is like, man, I really want some McNuggets.
I was like, I'm gonna get some now, and Cody was like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, ow. We're not even near McDonald's or anything.
I remember sending that to Michael, like saying that I was craving McDonald's, and the first thing he does is sends a picture of like McDonald's, and I'm just like, oh my god,
Oh, yeah.
what a tease! What a tease!
He was eating it like right in that moment.
I don't even know, dude.
Oh, okay. we used to eat McDonald's like semi-regularly, right?
Actually, too regular.
Yeah. High school, I don't know how we're still like in good health after
I realized
high
it was
school.
actually super unhealthy. Like
Of course.
at least from like year 12 onwards, or no, actually we started before year 12.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
probably starting in like year 11. So for almost 3 years,
Yeah.
we would go to McDonald's minimum twice a week.
Oh, yeah, like easily twice a week.
The majority of the time, it's like 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And like we just go there and kind of hang out. It sounds really weird now that I think about it, but we'd like that's our go-to like hangout. We
Yeah.
just have like a large group of people there, and one thing like after another we'd always end up getting food.
Yeah.
So that means we'd actually essentially be eating McDonald's at least 3-4 times a week.
Yeah. Our like, it was just our hangout spot every day after school in like our last 3 years of high school.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is we came there like on such a regular basis that Gareth, who was always with us, just became this like pseudo weird like MVP, or sorry, not MVP, like VIP of that McDonald's. So I remember
He's the MVP.
Yeah. He was. I guess he was like the MVP from a business like perspective
Economic
too.
MVP.
But he was like diamond status with that McDonald's because like I remember one day we were just eating and we all got our food, and then the manager of that McDonald's comes over with the platter and he goes to Gareth and he's like essentially says something to him in Cantonese, and then we ask him what he says, and he's like, these are new meals, like promotional meals that McDonald's is going to unveil in like the next month or something, and he wanted Gareth's opinion on that.
Gareth actually secretly franchised that McDonald's.
Yeah. So he's like being brought these like special meals for free, like on the house that no one else can have.
Wait, how do I not remember this? Maybe I wasn't there.
Yeah. Some days like the crowd like differed
That
a
is
bit, but
hilarious.
yeah. And then I remember the cashiers like remembered him and like would ask him how how his exam studying and stuff was going.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
And then one day, I think it was like you, me, Michael, and a couple other people, but McDonald's this year had like just unveiled their like create your own burger thing where you can completely customize it. And
I was gonna talk about that because Gareth spent almost $200.
It was over $200.
Over $200 on a single burger.
So yeah, for like US, that would be like $30 on a McDonald's burger. But we're like, Gareth, how funny would it be if you like customized everything and got like the max options for everything that you could put on it? And he's yeah, sure, that would be quite funny. So we do it in like 4 patties, like 4 cheese things, you know, like 4 tomatoes and everything. And then we're like, what is even like, are they gonna let us like even have it at this point? But it took a while, and they brought it over, but they had to bring it over on 2 different trays because it would have been too tall if it was just on one thing. So
it really took no convincing for Gareth to do
that. And then right after he got it, because it had taken so long for them to make it, we actually had to go to something. So we're like, all right, Gareth, see you, we're out. It's like this like huge layered burger to eat by himself, but they brought him like a fork and knife to eat it with and everything. But that was just like such a funny memory.
But in terms of health, like those things I crave so much. Like McDonald's, time and time again. Like I always crave a McDonald's. Maybe like I don't know, like for people out there who are in like different countries might not feel the same way. But Hong Kong McDonald's is probably the best McDonald's you'll ever go to.
Yeah, it just hits different. It's so
like everything
so
is
good.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Cody's favorite, the McSpicy chicken with his routine with the sweet and sour sauce.
It's so good. I feel like everyone in our group has like their go-to meal and stuff that we go to. But we often do it after like a night out together, like at bars and stuff too, because then just like the sodium and stuff feels so good after that, like the savory food. But yeah, McDonald's.
I've actually only had like one bad experience with McDonald's after a night out. Most of the time, like, it's perfect.
What was it?
I was just like not craving it, but then we ended up going there. And once you go to McDonald's, you don't ever just sit there. Like you have to order something. And I got something. Actually, I got way too much, and then I started eating it, and I just like felt so sick the entire time. I just wasn't in the mood for the McDonald's.
Yeah. Did you throw up at all?
No.
I just felt sick.
Yeah. I wouldn't drink enough to throw up anyways.
Yeah. No, I meant just like from the food.
Yeah, from the food. Yeah.
No one brought up anything about drinking too much yet. But yeah, I guess that's all I had in my mind.
Okay, so I'm actually really slow today. I just realized like I'm like super tired. That's why like I'm stumbling over my words. So
it's fine. Cut yourself some slack.
Guys.
We're also sweating so much right now.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit nauseous right now.
Actually, I feel sick right now.
I'm actually a bit lightheaded right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should end.
We should end soon. Follow us on Instagram at PitcherPod. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. We're going to be giving shout-outs to everyone who rates and reviews us on Apple Podcasts. We haven't checked, so we don't know if we need any shout-outs right now. But I really doubt anyone's being reviewed. Not to be pessimistic. But also, subscribe and check us out on YouTube, Spotify as well. Email and DM us at pitcherpod@gmail.com with thoughts or suggestions. And we'll grab a picture with you guys next time.
Bye.